Merry meet, friends. Welcome to the mayhem. It's Imbolc. It's the very beginning of February, and it's a time that is on the wheel of the year in some pagan practices is halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. And I was hoping to take you on a walk through the woods today, but on our property here. But we haven't actually been back there in almost a year since the ice storm last year. There's lots of trees and branches down, and there's just too many across the path to really walk. It's more like climbing. So hopefully we can get some of the path cleared soon, and I'll be able to take you back there before slithery things start to really emerge. I don't like to be back there very much once the weather warms up. But I am at the back of the garden today, right at the beginning of the woods, and I wanted to talk to you about some of my plans for this year. So Imbolc is a great time to contemplate what has been and what will be, and start to make some plans and take action towards those things. It's almost that busy season when it's time to get working hard in the garden, but we have just a little time left yet before we have to really get busy. However, it's almost time to start seeds. A lot of the things that we can plant out are cool weather crops, and we need, between 4 and 8 weeks for some of them to germinate and sprout and get some true leaves and be big enough to plant out in the garden with some cover, under a row cover at least, a little bit of protection. So with that in mind, we need to be starting seeds here where I am in the Pacific Northwest, starting in about 2 weeks or so, and I might fudge it a little and start just a little bit early. I'm just so anxious to get into the greenhouse this year and really get going. So I've been thinking through what's my plan for this year for the garden, and I need to grow things a little differently than I have in the past. This year, if you've been following for a while, you know I'm on a weight loss journey, and I'm a little over 50 pounds down now and still working on it, and I have ways to go to meet my goals, but the way I'm doing that is eating a low-carb diet. So I definitely have to change up some of the things that I've been doing in the garden. Originally, I created 2 of my raised beds are quite large because I intended for one entire bed to be potatoes and the other one to be onions. I can have some onion, and I could have a little potato, but not, I don't nearly need the amount that I intended to grow before in order to have some to store over winter. So I need to think about what does low-carb eating mean for my garden. In addition to that, besides food, this year I really want to explore growing more herbs and more flowers for the purpose of cooking, adding flavor in whenever you change your eating habits. Being able to add in more flavor is always a good thing, but also for medicinal purposes. It's been difficult to impossible at times over the last couple of years to access even simple over-the-counter remedies that normally we would have stocked, and so I'm going to begin to explore making some more of my own of those. And I want to grow plants for that if possible. And then also for spiritual purposes, I want to have ingredients to put together my own smoke cleansing wands and other things for ritual. And then I also want to grow some things to experiment with natural dyeing for my own fiber arts hobbies. I can't really use it in my business. It's not reliable enough and I don't know enough about it. And I can't really grow enough or gather enough dye stuffs to support the kind of production that I do when we're having regular shows to sell at. So it's more for my own hobby, but it also kind of ties into, my art ties back into my spirituality, and my spirituality ties into the way that we take care of our bodies here, and I take care of my family, and it's all connected for me, and it all kind of comes together in the garden. So one of the things we need to work on pretty soon here is getting my disaster of a garden cleaned up. It really is in a shambles. Last year I really kind of let all of the transplant pots and the plant tags and the bags from worm castings that I purchased and stuff, I just kind of left them sitting around in the garden, and it's really kind of a disaster. We really got to clean it up. And then I've got to get into the greenhouse and get some seeds started. That at least is pretty well set up from last year. I didn't do very much with it last year, so I don't have to do too much cleanup there. So I'm hoping this year to not only fill all of the 11 raised beds that I have, but also fill all 30 or so grow bags that I have, and maybe even grow some things in my little greenhouse. But the one big addition that I want to make, if at all possible, is to clear some more space at the back of the garden here and put up a high tunnel. That's what I'm really, really hoping for. I really want to get, first of all, more growing space under cover for a couple of reasons. First, I want to be able to grow more through the winter. And I also want to just be able to grow things like tomatoes and peppers in a slightly warmer space where I can extend the season a little bit. We don't get super cold winters here, but the sun kind of goes away and it just makes things difficult. So we still need a little sun for a greenhouse to work, but also we just need warmth, and there's other ways I can get that if the sun is not enough. So those are some of the things that I am contemplating and planning this Imbolc, and I'm curious to know, what are your plans for this year in the garden or otherwise? What are some of the things that you're leaving behind, or new things that you're going to try? What's on your list this year? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're up to and what you're thinking about. That's all I've got for you today. We'll see you on that very next video. Blessed be, friends.